Another hard-fought issue involved trade and American jobs. Here are Trump and Senator Cruz going back and forth.
I will say, trade deals are absolutely killing our country. The devaluations of their currencies by China and Japan and many, many other countries, and we don't do it because we don't play the game. And the only way we're going to be able to do it is we're going to have to do taxes unless they behave.
He's right about the problems, but his solutions don't work. So, for example, his solution on international trade, he proposed earlier a 45% tariff on foreign goods. And the effect of a 45% tariff would be when you go to the store, when you go to Walmart, when you're shopping for your kids, the prices you pay go up 45%. But not only that, when you put those in place, because a tariff is a tax on you, the American people, but the response of that is that the countries we trade with put in their own tariffs.
Mr. Trump, will give you a chance to respond.
The 45% tax is a threat. It was not a tax, it was a threat. It will be a tax if they don't behave.
Joining me now, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Great to see you, Senator. And congrats on your endorsement today.
Great to be with you.
By Senator Mike Lee, and also radio host Mark Levin. I want to ask you about whether you think that exchange helped you, because how we're getting bilked by countries like China has been an issue that's worked very well for your competitor, Donald Trump.
Well, look, it's a very real issue. People are unhappy because we are getting killed in international trade. But the problem is Donald has no solutions for it. He doesn't know how to fix the problem. You know, every problem he has, he just says, we'll make things great. We'll make them great. Well, you know, the world's a little more complicated than that. So his solution to international trade is a 45% tariff, which is a tax on you. When you go shopping, you know, if you're at home right now, I don't think most Americans want to see the cost of diapers go up 45%, or the cost of clothing go up 45%, or the cost of automobiles go up 45%. And what I laid out, there's another way to fix this, and that is the tax plan I've laid out. My tax plan, a simple flat tax, 10% for everybody. We abolish the IRS, but it also has all exports tax-free. And we tax all imports, but we don't end up raising prices. We don't end up causing a trade war and a tariff war. And Donald has no response to that because he hasn't been able to lay out real solutions to these problems. I think that's why we're seeing so much support on the ground. We've got to fix these problems, and that's what I've been working to do.
Well, you heard he was saying the threat of it will work. And he also received a big endorsement today, as he mentioned, or is going to announce it tomorrow, which is Dr. Ben Carson, who's beloved in the party. And is apparently going to endorse him tomorrow. I want to ask you about the dynamic tonight, because it certainly seemed to our analysts tonight that you guys were much more hands-off, that you didn't go after Trump as much, which Trump supporters may like a lot, but he is still the front runner in this race. Was that smart?
Right. Well, listen, I think it was good tonight that we had a much more substantive debate. The last couple of debates, Donald and Marco really got nasty. They were insulting each other. They were talking about each other's body parts. I mean, it was pretty ridiculous. And so I was glad to see that nonsense ending. It was something I called for right at the opening of the debate. Let's talk about the substantive problems facing the working men and women of this country, facing the single moms, facing the college students, facing the truck drivers and electricians and plumbers. And I think tonight we did that. And I think we continued to see the differences that we've seen in some of the earlier debates. You know, Donald said a bunch of times tonight that nobody knows the system better than him. And that's probably right, because he is the system. Donald Trump is Washington. He is big business. He has been part of the corruption for 40 years. And it was really striking tonight. Repeatedly, I pressed Donald, when have you ever stood up to Washington? He couldn't give an example. When have you stood up to the lobbyists? He couldn't give an example. And part of the reason, Megan, why our support is surging, why we've won now in 8 states beating Donald, is because what I've been doing over and over again is standing with the hardworking taxpayers, standing up against Washington, and that's what people are frustrated with.
And of course, his point is he played the game as a businessman, which gives him an advantage because he knows how they try to grease the wheels, and he will reject that. He will reject the grease. I got to run, Senator.
Yeah.
But
all right.
Great
Thanks
to see
a lot,
you. Thanks
Megan.
for joining us tonight.